What's up, y'all? Back this afternoon for our YouTube live seller calls. So I'm actually going to be hopping on some follow-up calls here for the next hour and a half or so. So if you guys want to jump on and follow along as I lock up some contracts here, I got a few follow-up calls and I'll call some new sellers. I'm going to put the link right here for you to jump on and listen in, and we'll see what happens here. So appreciate you guys. And if you guys have deals that you need help closing, whether it's cash, novations, subject to seller finance, whatever it is, we handle all types of creative deals. We can close them. We can also dispo and TC them for you. So click the link, jump in the chat, and I'll see you guys there soon. Peace. What's up, everybody? Just getting started here for the second session of the day. I'll be on for about an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours. I got some follow-ups to do, and looking forward to locking up a couple contracts here. So let's see here. Just getting this IG story posted. All right. And let me not forget to share my audio so you guys can hear the sellers. And let's see here. All right, so we're gonna hit up this guy. All right, so if you guys are just jumping in, basically doing live seller calls, and some of these are new seller calls, some of these are follow-ups. So let's see here. So we did about two and a half hours earlier today, and probably going to do another 2 hours right now. Let me take my watch off so I don't get distracted by the buzzing, and just make sure my phone is not connected and is on do not disturb so my headset doesn't disconnect. And actually, I'm gonna bring the charger over here. But all right, so let's see what we got here. So, and I've got at least two people that I think I'm going to lock up a contract with here that I'm going to follow up. So I just want to make sure I have any contracts ready to go. Let's see here. So this one. Did we already send this one out? Okay, so I'm going to need another email address. Let's double check. So we're going to change this. So this guy, we've been working with this guy for, let's see, this lead creation date was 2023. So April 8th of 2023 is when this lead was created. So that's what, a year and a half almost. So this is why follow-up is so very important. Today is the 12th. Guys, if you guys are just jumping on, like definitely hit me up in the chat. If there's anything in particular you want to see, any content you guys are looking for, any, help you need on deals, you want to know how to structure novation deals, creative finance, you don't know how to underwrite, creative finance, or don't know how to underwrite novation deals, definitely hit me up and we can help you out with that. We got a team that specializes in all those things, and we can help you get those deals across the finish line, get them dispoed, get them underwritten, get them closed, like whatever it is you need help with, we can handle it. So let's see here. I just need to update the date of this contract. 9/12/2024. All right, so this is gonna be a novation agreement. And let's see if we can get this guy. I think we'll get this guy. He's been blowing up our text messages for a while now, actually. And I think we got a good number here. So I'll kind of give you guys the rundown of the numbers. So this particular deal, we had made him an offer of what was our initial offer? I think it was 600 or 620, something like that. Let's see here. We made him an offer. Let's see here. Okay, I can't find it. But originally we had an offer around between 600 and 620. And then he wanted us to come up to 680. We were going to come to 640. We basically decided we could meet at 660. But here's the numbers as they stand. So I sent all the details over to our agent, who, if you guys need an agent in the Indianapolis area, definitely hit me up. I've got an agent that will just absolutely crush any other agent in that market, especially doing novations. And she's saying that she thinks minimum it could list for 967. Now, as much as she's a killer, and she very much could be right, she hasn't seen the property yet. She just went based off of notes that we sent her. Let's be conservative. Let's say it could list for 900. Right? So the math for a novation is you take 10% off of that to factor in for realtor commissions, closing costs, buyer requests for repairs, like minor stuff, little concessions, maybe interest rate buy downs, that type of stuff. Generally speaking, you want to set aside about 10% to cover all of those things. And then from there, you minus out your target fee. But in this case, he is good to go at 660. So that puts us at potentially $150,000 spread. So I'm going to say that again. If the numbers pan out below what our agent is telling us we could sell it for, she's saying 967. I said, let's go conservative. Let's say 900. At those numbers, we can novate this and potentially be looking at $150,000 net profit. And by the way, this lead came from none other than text message marketing. So texting is not dead. It's alive and well. And you're about to see the fruits of that right now. So let's give them a call.
Hello.
Hello, Raphael.
Yes.
Hey, this is Chris. How are you?
Chris, how are you? I'm doing well.
Nice. I'm doing fantastic as well.
I hope you're not going to be mad at me, but I just sat down to watch the Dolphins game, and I'm in a bar. It's kind of loud.
Oh, gotcha. No worries.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I tell you what. I mean, are you going to be around tomorrow?
yeah, I'll be around tomorrow. What time generally works best for you?
I mean, I tell you what. I'm going to be. I actually got to go in the building tomorrow, and I'll be there until 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you happen to call me earlier, like you're on the West Coast, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you called me early, your time, text me first and just say, hey, I'm going to give you a call. The reason being is I get really bad reception in that government building. But
Gotcha.
if you don't do that, anytime after 3:30 Eastern,
Okay.
I'll be around.
Got it. All right. Perfect. So yeah, I'll
Yeah,
shoot you a text.
sorry to put you off, but yeah.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine, man. The Dolphins game is important, man. You got to get that in.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
so
sounds like we're
absolutely
gonna.
call me tomorrow.
Okay,
We can make
perfect.
something happen.
Yeah, sounds like it. So I'm excited and
Okay.
looking forward to it. Have a great night.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
All
it.
right. See ya.
Bye.
All right. So kind of a bummer, but this guy is so I'm not really too concerned about it because this guy has been texting us left and right, ready to go. We, played it coy and just, hey, we can work with you and just kind of kept it a little bit at arm's length. But he's ready to go at 660. So I already have the contract all drafted up, ready to rock. There's really nothing to it. So I think this is going to be a pretty easy, straightforward novation deal. And like I said, based on the numbers, conservatively, we're looking at potentially $150,000 spread. Now, let me just do some basic math for you guys so you can see, okay, like what is our minimum target that we want to hit on innovation? So usually we want to hit about a $30,000 profit. So that's like our, what we're shooting for. So we would take the offer of 660, we would add 30K to that. So that's 690. And then you divide it by 0.9. So that adds on 10% for commissions, closing costs, concessions, all that stuff. That puts us at a sell price of 767. So our agent told us we could list it for 967. So that's a $200,000 gap, right? So this deal is going to be a deal, doesn't really matter what way you shake it, right? So we're going to get this deal done. This is going to be a pretty significant deal for us. But obviously the market dictates, right? I don't dictate what properties sell for. Agents don't dictate what they sell for. At the end of the day, it's what somebody's willing to buy it for. So we're going to see tomorrow and see what that ends up shaking out to be. So let's see. Lock it up. All right, so this one I'm going to put on my calendar because I want this to be basically one of the first things that I'm doing. Let's see here. All right, and I got another call to make here. So I'm bummed you guys can't see that one right now, but it's okay. We'll tee it up for tomorrow. We'll get this guy locked in tomorrow, and then that'll be one more on the block. All right, so let's see here. All right, if you guys are just jumping in, we are hopping on seller calls. So that one is going to be a callback for tomorrow. Let's close this up. Let's go ahead. Where is My boy Drew. Okay, let's call Drew. And then I'm gonna hit up Brandy. All right, Drew, pick up the phone this time. Let's go.
Hello.
What's up, Drew? It's Chris.
Hey man, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, man. Glad we're able to finally connect.
Yep, me
How,
too.
how have you been?
Good. I mean, yeah, all right.
Doing all right? Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Awesome, man. Well, glad we finally had some time to connect here and figure out what we got to do, get this thing all squared away for you. What's changed since the last time we spoke?
Nothing that I know of. I think it's all the same.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Gotcha. Cool. So, let's see here. Last time we spoke, let's see here. It looks like they had approved this, it's basically between 136 and 137. Um, so let's see here. All right. Do you have access to your email?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect.
So you messaged me back and you said something about you get closer to you get a better number, and then I think the holdup I was having was the $100 deposit. It just didn't really, it's not really adequate. I don't think for tying the property down for so long. So I was hoping, you had something different to throw in there.
I gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I mean, here's the deal, right? Like as far as the EMD doesn't really mean a whole lot, right? Basically, because all we're doing, we're going to close on the property, right? So, basically you're going to get the full dollar amount. EMD really only matters if the property is not going to get closed. And so once we get to a point where a property is approved for an offer, like they've done pretty much all their due diligence on it and, confirming that they can, move forward at that number. So if they're making an offer, it's based on, their confidence in being able to perform at that number. Um, and so I guess for you, what is the most important thing? Because I know there's the price and then the closing timeline and then the EMD. So what is it that's really like absolutely most important to you?
I mean, they're all important to me. I guess, overall, obviously, would be the price, and then the closing time, and then the deposit, I suppose, in that order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, so I know when we initially spoke, they had originally, approved a closing timeline of, 60 days. We came to the number, the 136, 287. I think they've got, a little bit of flexibility on that. But they came down from the 60 days to 45 days. So I mean, where do we need to be for you to feel good and get this over the finish line?
Um, well, where do we need to feel good? I mean, if you could do a whole lot shorter of a closing time, I mean, the earnest money deposit is, it's 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 silly to even write $100 in there. Honestly, it's kind of silly. But I think if I don't know. I mean, I would want to close almost like immediately if we're not gonna raise the deposit. It's hard to tie up the property for $100. If you guys back out or something or whatever, for whatever reason, it just kind of screws me. You know what I mean? It's you're not showing me that you're very serious by putting $100 down for deposit, and I'm not able to show or deal with anybody else in that whole timeline. It's kind of stupid for me to do for $100, you know. So
Yeah.
I would need the time to be shorter or a bigger deposit with the release of the funds at a certain time or a certain contingencies or something. Otherwise, I'm just shooting myself in the foot, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand, why you might feel that way. Um, and I might feel that way if I was in your shoes too, and from our perspective, right? Like, so there has to be, to make a contract legally binding, there has to be some sort of consideration, right? So that's really what the earnest money deposit is for, is to make the contract binding. But on our side of the table, because we're working, generally speaking, we're locking up anywhere from 30 to 50 properties every single month. So that's a lot of properties that we end up um, closing on, right? And so we're certainly talking to a lot more people than that. We're probably talking to, around 1,200 people on a monthly basis and, negotiating offers and things of that sort, right? And so, I mean, what would you feel like is a reasonable earnest money deposit?
I mean, I don't know. I'd probably want like at least probably 5 grand with probably the release of funds under certain what I don't know what your contingencies are, what you're needing to have done exactly or looked at and inspected, but as those get checked off, I would want funds to be released or whatnot.
I gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I can tell you that that's just not going to be doable for us. And here's why, because as we're working on so many properties, picture and imagine, right? If we doing 50 properties on a monthly basis, and we had to put $5,000 earnest money deposit, that's $250,000 a month. That's just tied up in earnest money deposit. So
Yeah.
there's an opportunity cost there associated with that dollar amount, which means that our money doesn't go as far as we can make it go, right, in this scenario. And so there's costs associated with borrowing that money. Like it would not be a wise decision business wise to keep a bunch of cash in a business just for the sake of earnest money deposit, because you're using financial partners for that, right? And they're looking for a return. And so then we're just paying interest on earnest money deposits, right? And so you could see how that would add up really, really quickly and basically make the company insolvent. So there's just no way. And the other thing is like what you're talking about, I mean, 5,000 on 130, just call it $137,000. I mean, that's like a 3.5%. Retail buyers who are only buying one home to live in oftentimes aren't even putting that much earnest money deposit on a property. At best, retail buyers are generally going to be putting between 1 and maybe 3%, max. But these are people that are just simply buying one property to live in, you know what I mean? So, but that being said, right, like it doesn't seem like the earnest money is really like the big thing. The big thing is you want to just make sure that the property is going to close, right? Like if the property closes, it doesn't matter whether there's $1 million of EMD. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, I just don't want I don't want to tie it up and not be able to show it
and then it fall apart.
Well, I just don't want you to back out. I mean, I don't care if you assign it to somebody else. I don't care if you wholesale. I don't care what you do. I just don't want to tie it up and then I'm not able to do anything for the next month and a half.
Yeah, and then you're stuck.
And then, well, no, I'm not stuck. It's just it wastes my time and it doesn't benefit at all. And while you guys are shopping it around, I don't get any benefit from it if it doesn't work out.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, like I said, I mean, we do enough of these transactions to where, they're confident, when they're making an offer of what they can move forward at, they're not coming in, super aggressive numbers. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that, unfortunately kind of give a bad rep for the industry as they come in high, lock up a contract and then they hope to negotiate it, after the fact. That's not really our MO. We try to come in at numbers that we're confident in moving forward at. So, the initial numbers they underwrote it at, I mean, they're extremely confident that we can make the closing happen, with those numbers. I mean,
So if you're so confident, wouldn't it just be $5,000 off of the 136 later on? I mean, you'd have 131 in 45 days and 5 now. It's not really any different than paying the 136 in 45 days if you're so confident that you're going to take it.
well, yeah, in one sense, maybe, but on the other sense, right? Like again, that like we don't keep our own cash in the business, right? So all of the cash that we have towards properties is from private investors, right? And so those private investors are looking for a return. So basically, then if we're putting 5K in EMD down, then there's financing costs that are getting attributed to that, right? And so it's costing us money just for that money, right? Whereas if we just close, and we bring those funds at close of escrow, well, now those funds, there's no financing costs associated until we actually close. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it just drives our cost up, and you can see how like if we do that on one, like it's just a policy the company has. I mean, I could probably get them to come up a little bit, but it's not, the numbers you're talking about for EMD, they're not even going to bat an eye at it. They're just going to look at me
Right.
like I've got three heads. You know what I mean? So they'd rather just move on from the deal and do something else. So, yeah, I mean, I was able to get them to come to the 45 days for the closing. So that's good. That moves it up a little bit. And I think I'll have to, I can put you on hold and run back there and just see, because I didn't take notes on what that number was that they adjusted. I thought I saved it in here. But I can run back there to see where they were coming in at number wise on the adjustment. And let me see here.
Yeah, you don't have to rush. Why don't you just talk to them and give me a call tomorrow, and then we can go from there and see if what's up with it. I'm cool with you guys if you want to do your inspections without, I know you want to put it in escrow, and I know you want to tie it up with $100. It really doesn't. I'll have to think about it. It really doesn't. It's really nothing different than the last time we talked, which I'm just not really comfortable. I think it needs to be something a little more advantageous for me. I don't think I'm benefiting very much. I know the price is already really low for you guys. The closing, everything's it's pretty cheap, and I just feel like there needs to be some benefit to me for waiting 45 days if in case it doesn't go through or whatnot, because I'm already kind of taking a hit on the whole price. So
I get that, but let me give you this perspective, right? Because again, the EMD, like you only get EMD if we don't perform and close.
Well, we can
within the time frame.
Do it. You can make the funds. You can release the funds whenever you want. I mean, those are all between us that we can negotiate those terms. It's not written in stone that you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I can tell you with 1,000% certainty that if there's a sniffing chance that they're not going to be able to perform, they're just going to cancel it before the end of the inspection period. Like they're not going to run it out beyond that. You know what I mean? Like, so, they're not going to put that money at risk, like, sure. I mean, it's like, okay, we'll throw it out there, but it changes nothing for you. You know what I mean? So,
well, it does, because it tells me whether you're serious or not. If it's so safe to do it, then why don't, I get it. You're paying money. You're not really showing me very interested. It's just tying my property up so I can't do anything with it. And then it gives you the power to decide if you're going to buy it or not. And I get that, but, I guess I want to know that you're more interested. I mean, I want something out of it, but
yeah,
I'm only thinking 45 days, and it's yeah, I don't know.
I got you.
I'll think about it and see what, how I feel about it. But as of right now, I feel like I need to get a little more incentive or something. I don't know how that is or which way that goes, but Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm confused, right? Because like what, the last time we spoke was in August, right? So it's been a few weeks, and I know at the time we spoke, there was obviously like a financially pressing matter for you, to get done,
Yeah.
and I would imagine, we're probably not the only people that have called you to, possibly buy your house, right? Um,
Right.
and so here we are back, on the phone, like I got some movement from them on the timeline, I've got some flexibility from them on the price, and we're, trying to work with you. You obviously haven't sold it to anybody else. So, um, and it doesn't sound like that lender situation worked out to get you the funds that you needed. So, I just don't know what else we can really do to give you that security, and it doesn't sound like you're getting that from anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Um, yeah, I mean, I do have some other things I'm working on, but I don't have anything locked in stone yet, or locked up yet. I'm, I'd like to sell it. I'd like to sell it quickly, but I'd like to make sure that I don't get screwed over while I'm doing it, or wait, and then you know what I'm saying, man. You do this stuff every day. You get it,
Yeah,
right?
I totally get it. And the reality is like, we got that adjustment from 60 to 45 days, and when you and I spoke about it, and I got them to make that movement, that was at least like 14 or 15 days. So, had we just, moved forward with the contract at that time, you'd be a third of the way to closing, which is just a lot faster to you getting paid. So like I understand you want to make sure you're not getting bamboozled or anything like that. And I totally respect that, right? But there at some point there comes a time where, it's a analysis paralysis, and the time, the opportunity cost, right, becomes more expensive than just getting it done. Like a perfect example, I'm working with a seller in Naples, Florida, where they've already moved out. They bought a new house. They have a $5,000 a month mortgage payment. And, we made them an offer that I think is a fair offer considering the market over there. But they're willing to sit on the market for another 3 months to get a little bit more. And it's like, well, it's going to be the same thing if you even get an offer, because in 3 months you're going to have spent $15,000 and cross your fingers and hope you get a buyer that closes in 3 months. And if you don't get a buyer till the end of that 3 months, you got another 30 to 60 days before they can close. So now you're like $25,000. We're basically at the same numbers as we are right now. You know what I mean? So like I understand what you're saying and everything, and I want to go to bat for you and try to get, this done for you. Um, I mean, but like everything, we can be flexible, but it's like you're wanting everything to be flexible, and we can move on a couple things. I can get them to move on a couple things.
We originally talked about 180,000, and I said yes to 136. That's me being flexible,
Well, yeah,
That's
for sure.
$44,000 that I was flexible with. I think that's flexible. I mean,
No, I agree. I agree, right? Like you're working with us on the price and everything, and I totally understand that and appreciate that, and we worked with you on the closing timeline and everything, right? And so it's a matter of like coming into a scenario where it makes sense for everybody. And like I said, like the the EMD, and I don't know what position of the political spectrum you lie on, right? It doesn't really matter. But the EMD is literally the equivalent of the government saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to do a $25,000 credit for home buyers," right? Like that makes people feel good, right? But the reality is, all that's going to do is make home sellers charge $50,000 to $75,000 more, because now they know they're getting $25,000 help from the government. That's what it always does, right? Same thing with, when the government backs your college funds, right? The reason why college is so expensive is because the government guarantees those payments to universities, so they jack up the price, right? So like the EMD makes you feel good, but it really doesn't do anything, because like I said, they're smart enough, they've been doing this long enough that if there's any reason that they consider that they might have to cancel at some point, they're just going to pull the plug before that EMD is at risk. And that's just the reality.
Exactly the reason I don't want to tie it up and then not end up closing and it be tied up.
But that's all. But that's also the reason why the EMD doesn't matter, because it's not going to change anything. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
You know, they've done their underwriting on it. You know, they've put, you know, pen to paper. You know, they know what they can, you know, do the deal at and get it done and the time frame, and you know, and they've flexed on that to make it make sense and everything. You know, I really think they're coming in at a really good, you know, offer for you. You know, and I just got a message back from the underwriters. So yeah, I mean, they were willing to come up on the offer to basically 140, you know, with that 45-day timeline. So, I mean, you know, I think they're being really reasonable with the timeline and the offer, you know, and if we can, you know, get this wrapped up today, get the ball rolling, you know, I mean, it's just going to be that much faster for you to get paid.
Right. Yeah. Let me, I don't want to keep you guys tied up on it too long, so if you can give me till Monday to mull it over, and I'll get back to you on Monday with a solid answer, that would be helpful for me. So.
Yeah, I'll do what I can, man. I know, like, again, we're not, you know, this is not BlackRock. We don't have unlimited funds, and you know, there's other acquisitions guys that are all trying to lock up deals as well. And so,
Yeah,
you know, we have a limitation on funds. So when they set those funds aside, you know, for a property, you know, it's for that property, so those funds don't get allocated to anything else. I mean, do you think we could circle back tomorrow and come up with something by tomorrow?
I mean, possibly. I can, you know, I mean, as soon as I come to a comfortable place, I'll let you know. But tomorrow maybe, yeah. Monday at the latest. Yeah, we can talk tomorrow and see. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let me ask you this: what do you think is going to change between now and Monday for you?
I don't know. I'd like to think about it and just mull it over so that I am comfortable with it. It's a long escrow, and I don't know. I'll have to write some questions down and have some questions for you tomorrow when we talk, and then we can, you know, see how I feel after that, I suppose. But I mean, I want to sell it. I'd love for you guys just to take it, say, hey, we're going to take it and be done with it. You know, I know it takes you longer to do your inspections or whatever it is you have to do because you're not here, and you're calling people that live here or pass through or whatever. But
yeah, and it's just super rural. You know, like I said, I mean, if we were talking about Indianapolis, you know, like, or San Diego or something like that, I mean, usually our close timeline is within 30 days. But when we're talking about something that's, you know, way more rural, it's just a lot harder to get things done. I mean, we had a deal in, God, where was it? It was in somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi or something like that. And it took 3 weeks just to get a foundation expert to schedule an appointment to look at the foundation. And then that appointment was 2 weeks later. So we're 5 weeks just to get a freaking foundation inspection. It was a freaking nightmare. And that deal ended up not being a deal because the seller knew full well that the foundation was basically made out of gingerbread and the house was like sinking. So that, totally different situation than what we're talking about here. But that's just like one example of like when you're dealing with a rural property, everything moves slower. And so that's why we have to build that time in. Otherwise, we do run the risk of tying up a property and then it not going anywhere because we just can't get the other people that we rely on to move things along. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So.
Right. And I guess that's kind of another thing is I didn't get, when I traded for this place, I didn't get any, you know, I didn't get all the inspections and whatnot done myself. And so maybe, you know, if something does come up, you guys could just pull the plug. I mean, it seems pretty sound to me, but I'm not like you said, a foundation expert or a whatever expert you're going to have come in and look at it. So I just have a hard time tying it up for so long and not being able to show it to anybody else in that time frame is really my main concern.
Yeah.
The main objection that I'd love for you to overcome for me, but maybe I can convince myself that it's worth it just to take it and be done with it. I'd like to I just like to think about it, I guess, for another day at least. See
I
what I
gotcha.
come up with.
No, I
It's,
totally understand. And, like when I say this, you're probably going to feel like, oh, he's trying to back me in a corner or something like that. And like, that's not my intention. Really what I think about though is like, how many other options are there really on the table that are like legitimate options to move forward, right?
Mhm.
Because we've been doing this since 2008, 2009. We work with a lot of other investors. We've partnered with a lot of other investors, flippers and the such. And, for the most part, we all follow the same process and guidelines, right? It's like, we use the same underwriting software to look at the values. We have the same cost of materials, same cost of labor. There might be a marginal difference and, like aesthetic differences in like, what colors you're choosing and that type of stuff. But generally speaking, everything is pretty much cookie cutter and the same. And so there's nobody out there really that, quite frankly would kind of buy it like the way that you did, where it was like, didn't really do any inspection and,
Yeah.
confirming condition type of thing. You know what I mean? At least not somebody who's like, and that this is not like a knock on you, right? Like, I mean, sounds like you got to step up based on how you traded on this.
No, it was a good trade for me. I mean, it was a good deal for me doing it with an inspection or without. But in this situation, it's I understand. I mean, I would get an inspection too. I mean, of course, I would get an inspection on all my cars. But yeah, I would just like to see what I think about it tomorrow, and then we can go from there and see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I could get them to come up a little bit on the EMD, like again, I don't. The reason why it's not like a big deal to me is because I don't think the EMD is really like makes a difference. But I mean, like
I don't do
at
either.
best, I might be able to get them to come up to like maybe $1,000 on it. I doubt they would go anything higher than that. I mean, would that make you feel comfortable with moving forward?
I mean, it would help, but I'd still want to get back with you tomorrow.
Okay.
If you told me right now, if you told me we're going to close in 18 days, I'd be done. We'd already be off the phone, and I'd go celebrate. But I know that's not
Gotcha.
going to happen. And I just don't. I don't know about sitting here for a month and a half, or sitting anywhere for a month and a half, just kind of waiting to see what you guys decide. It's then not being able to show it to anybody else. It kind of puts me at a disadvantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel super comfortable that I just feel like I'm tying it up is what I feel like I'm doing. I don't know that it's
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, that's my position, and I just want to know that if I tie it up, that it's probably most likely going to be dead, sold at least.
Yeah.
Especially with 45 days. It's kind of a long time to kind of mull it over and wait.
I gotcha. Yeah, and I'll give you the tomorrow. We can talk tomorrow. Like this is not an attempt to like get you to do anything today. But the 45 days, the way it's written in there is, close of escrow will be scheduled as soon as practical, but no later than 45 days, right? So, we are going to make every attempt to move it along as fast as possible. But it just gives us that time, especially like with a rural property where we know it can take a little longer to get people out there to do what we need to do and confirm everything. So that's all it is. But yeah, take the night, think about it, and then let's circle back tomorrow sometime. What's a good time tomorrow that generally would work for you?
Let's do the same time, sometime in the afternoon, maybe after 3 or so.
Okay. After 3 p.m. All right, got it. So let me put that on my calendar. So after 3 p.m. Perfect. All right. So I got that on the calendar for tomorrow after 3. If something comes up, shoot me a text, give me a call, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks for calling, Chris. I appreciate your time. I do
Yeah,
really.
no worries. I appreciate you. And, you know, whether we get this worked out or not, you know, it was good connecting with you. And, you know, hopefully it works out, you know, whether it's with us or somebody else.
Yeah, I feel if it doesn't work out with this one, or even if it does or doesn't or whatnot, I'm sure I'll be talking to you in the future with other properties and whatnot. But
Awesome.
yeah, we'll figure it out. So
Perfect.
thanks, man.
Awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate you, Drew. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. See ya. What's up, Brandon? I don't know if you're still on and listen through on that one. What'd you guys think of that call there? So this guy, I've been working with this guy for a little while now, and he's just, you know, kind of dragging his feet a little bit. I mean, I think we got it at a decent number. You know, he's got some sort of financial motivation, but he was playing a little coy the last time I talked to him about what that, you know, financial motivation was. He's got something he needs the money for, but he just wasn't really disclosing. And that's fine. I don't necessarily need to know. You know, but at the time it seemed like it was like super urgent. This was like, you know, 15 days ago or something like that. And so, you know, try to put the pressure on him then, and then, you know, came up with a reason why not. But then he's been, you know, we kind of followed up with him a little bit via text. I left him a message like, hey, I got some good news, you know. And that's something I would highly recommend when you guys are following up. Don't just follow like, oh yeah, just checking in, following up with you. It's like, hey, you know, I got some time to get back to you. Actually got some really good news. Give me a call back when you get a chance, right? So I'll just leave a vague message like that. And you know, sometimes the good news is just that they extended the timeline on when they'll allow that offer to stand, right? I might not even change my offer at all. Other times it might be like, oh yeah, I was able to get you a few grand more. Just depends on where I'm at in my offer range. If my underwriting is solid and I'm at the low end of my offer range, I'll give them a little bit more because, you know, I want to get the deal done. But if I'm at the top end of my offer range, I got really good rapport and I just want to follow up and try to lock it up, then yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm going to be like, hey, I got great news for you. They're like, oh, what's the great news? Oh man, normally they only approve those offers for 72 hours. I know it's been 2 weeks, but I went back to them and dude, I fought for you. They're still willing to honor that offer price if we can get this done here today. Are you guys ready to go? You know, and yeah, just get it wrapped up. So definitely recommend using that tip there. So all right, so let's see here. So I'm gonna update new offer 140, 45-day close of escrow, possible 1K EMD. Now, here's the deal. The way our contracts are written, the EMD, like it doesn't actually have a timeline on when that EMD is due. So it doesn't really matter. You know, I do everything I can to get them off the EMD because it doesn't really matter. Again, like if we're going to cancel, we're going to cancel within the inspection period. We're never going to go beyond the inspection period. And you could literally tell somebody that, like, hey, look, you know, I would say that's like the last thing you want to do to defend a lower EMD. The first thing you do is like, hey, we do such a volume of deals. We're doing, you know, 30 to 50 deals. I mean, if we put up the EMD that you're talking about on every single deal, that's like $250,000, you know, and it's not a wise business decision to keep a bunch of your own cash in the business, especially $250,000 a month, right? So you're not paying financing costs. We're deploying all of that capital to invest, right? Because we want our money working for us, right? But the thing is, we bring other investors in. And so if we're using $250,000 on EMD, right? Like private money is, you know, around 10%. That's $25,000 a year for every month's worth of EMD that we're putting out. That's a lot of money, which means our offer to you would have to be lower, right? And you certainly don't want a lower offer, right, Mr. Jones? Well, no, definitely. Okay, got it. Well, the reason we're able to get you the offer where it is based on the way our business model is structured, which is with this $100 EMD. And again, it doesn't really matter. You know, we intend on closing. We do all of our underwriting up front. So we're confident in moving forward, blah, 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 right? All of that. And then, Usually that'll overcome it. It's very rare that that doesn't overcome it. And then if they're still hesitant, it's like, look, the reality is we're going to cancel, if we can't get this done, if there's even a remote chance that this can't get done, they're going to cancel it before the inspection period is up, which means the EMD is going to be refundable, which means it doesn't matter, right? It changes nothing for you, right? All it does is give you a warm and fuzzy feeling, right? And so I'm happy to give you a little bit of a warm and fuzzy feeling, but it's not going to be a $5,000 warm and fuzzy feeling. It might be maybe $1,000 at best. Um, all right, so let's update this. All right, if you guys are new, just jumping on, go ahead and put something in the chat. If you guys got any questions, got any deals you need help with, let me know. I'm gonna call a few more people here and let's see, I'm gonna put this guy on the calendar for tomorrow at 3 p.m. And this one, by the way, that deal is in a rural area. And so, one of the things you may have heard me mention is like, yeah, it's a rural area. I mean, I could do 30 days or less if this was, in a major metro where I have a dozen inspectors and I can get anybody out there at the drop of a dime. But like, that's not what we're talking about, right? It's 2 hours from anywhere of value. So, this is going to be a hassle trying to get them out. All right, so let me call, I think it's Brandy. Yeah, let's call Brandy and see. Hello, Brandy.
Hello.
Hey, it's Chris. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Did I catch you at a bad time? We were texting and you texted yesterday about if we could speak tomorrow, which would be today, about your
Oh,
house on
yeah.
Tropic.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. How are you? I forgot what your name was. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. Totally fine. Yeah, and you might have spoken with somebody else here, a while back. So, not sure, but yeah, wanted to get back with you about the property there on Tropic. I guess you had mentioned in your text that you guys, had some things you got to decide, and you're planning a trip. I guess you guys are going down there, right? Because you guys are in Michigan.
Yeah, we're in Michigan. My husband's not going to be able to go, but we're just sitting at a point where I know this is kind of personal, but when we talked, and my husband, it's like it's been in the family for a long time, and emotionally, he was really having a hard time making a decision about it. So it caused a little bit of anxiety and friction around here for a minute. But the reality of things have kind of set in, and so he's telling me, well, look, if you don't talk to him, you need to go and you need to talk to a realtor and you need to this and you need to that. And I'm like, slow down a minute. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We go from one extreme to the next. However, we definitely would like to discuss what it would look like to move forward
Okay.
and, go from there.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, let me see if I can just pull up details. Let's see here. So, and just to confirm, because I think there was some conflicting information online versus what we had in the notes here. So I just wanted to make sure that we had the proper information on the property.
Sure.
Rather than, coming back after the fact like, hey, something was wrong. So
Yeah,
let me
for
just
sure.
pull this up real quick. So it looks like online it says that the property is 746 square feet. But I believe in the previous conversations, well, and then there's a tax record that says it was 616 square feet. But then I believe in the previous conversation, you guys mentioned that it was, around 1,200 square feet. What can you tell me about that?
Sure. Well, it began in the 80s as a mobile home. It was a single wide.
Okay.
and it was built onto, and it has a complete roof over on it. It's declared as real property now.
Oh, okay. So it
So
was a fixed.
so I'm sure that 600 or whatever it says is that original single wide. So it's double plus the garage now, which, yeah, that's attached to the house.
So it's a double wide plus the garage. Okay.
Yep.
Got it. So,
Yeah.
okay, got
And
it.
then there's
So,
the big building on the property as well. We've got a big pole barn out there with a car lift in it, and
oh, nice. Is the car lift
yeah.
staying?
Yes, car lift is staying. I can't see why we would try to haul it. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, I'm like, guys, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could, but like at what cost, you know?
Right, exactly.
Okay. So, yeah, and the street view images are tough because there's like a bunch of giant bushes like right in front of the lot. So let's see. The blue, so there's seeing like a blue metal barn with what looks like two barn doors and a
Yep.
metal roof. That's the pole barn you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, the home is
perfect.
on 2 lots.
Got it. Okay. All right, perfect. So then the home is right there next to it. Okay. Got it. And okay, no, that's really, really helpful. All right, and then let's see here. So it looks like the last offer that they had approved for you guys on this was $65,637.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right.
Has anybody looked at that since then for another offer, or is that where that stands? And was everything included with the building and the fact that it's on 2 lots?
Yeah, so they would have underwritten it. I know based on the notes, they written it based on, the 2 lots, the barn, everything that
Okay.
was included on the lot, based on the condition. Let's see, it looks like for the most part, I mean, the house needs to be updated pretty much all around, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, got it. Are there any like structural issues or anything like that?
Structural issues. No. Can you give me an example of what that would?
Yeah, so great question. So,
I don't want
let's
to
see.
lie to you.
No, I appreciate that. So because it was a mobile home, it's going to be put up on like piers and posts. So, or jacks. Yeah, I mean, structural would be like, like not like drywall damage, but like framing damage. There's not really there's no type of foundation that it's sitting on, like a slab or anything, right?
There is a slab on the part of the home that was built onto, yes.
Okay,
So,
got it.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's still a crawl space underneath the back side, the front side, which was the mobile home. So
Okay.
it's built on in the back. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
No, there's no structural damage. The home needs to be refinished. I mean, we lived there. My son had severe asthma. We couldn't work on it. It's been in my husband's family, like I said, since the 80s. It was his grandfather's, his dad's, and signed to him. And we couldn't do the work. So, I mean, the floors are unfinished. They need carpet. They're plywood. The drywall needs finished. I know we've had, it's got a hot water heater in it. That's good. The septic is grandfathered in. It's under the ground in the front. We've had that inspected. We know that that's good. We replaced the pump.
Sorry, is that both
Sorry.
the tank and the leach field? Both of those have been inspected and it's in good
Yes.
shape? Okay. When
Yep.
was the last time they were inspected?
Oh, it's been maybe 4 years ago by now, I would say.
Okay.
But it hasn't really been lived in by a full family full time either. It's been used, but yeah, it's in good shape. So we did have the pump, the water pump, that was replaced in 2022. and the pump house is the shed in the back. That's where the laundry's been. There was laundry in the house, and my father-in-law moved it out to the shed. So
Got
that's
it.
kind of
Okay.
where that's been. And so like the drywall's unfinished, stuff like that. One of the bedrooms was huge. We turned that, we separated it years ago and made that another room. So, you know, it's actually, but the back room that we call it 3 rooms doesn't have a closet. So, I mean, whatever you want to call it. It does need all upgrades. I mean, the cabinets that are in there, I would say, are probably original. They're that pressed wood crap, you know. The counters have never been replaced. You know, it was a small place, and we kind of lived in it, moved back out, you know, went to Michigan, moved back out, came back, stayed for 4 years, you know, so we've been using it in that manner.
Got it. Okay. All right. All right. Perfect. Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much all of that was, you know, taken into consideration when they underwrote it.
Okay, good.
Let me see here.
And can you repeat that to me? You said it was 65.
65, 637.
Okay, thank you.
And then, is it currently occupied?
No, it's not.
Okay, so it's vacant. Okay. All right. So, I guess, let me see here. There was some notes about, let's see here. Okay, needing some extra time after close to get some of the personal items out. Is that still the case, or did you guys already get?
So some of that has changed a little bit. We were not sure how long anything would take, and so, you know, at that point there was a lot of up in the air stuff. Like I said, I am looking at planning a trip. So here was the big deal. It's the funds to make the move happen from there to here. We still have to get stuff out of there, and it's going to be an expense. So the gentleman that I spoke to was checking to see, you know, he gave me a few examples of things that had been done with other clients that you've worked with, and said that he wanted to see how we could work together. But we never got to speak again to go over, you know, if there would be, you know, like 30 days to vacate, we could get, you know, $5,000 down, and then the rest paid at the, you know, possession. And those were the things we were talking about. Does that make sense? Are there any notes about that?
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like something about, I guess needing some time, and then, looks like doing, you know, possibly closing and then having like a post occupancy or post closing occupancy to
Yeah,
be able
something so
to
that there were
go and
funds.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess how much stuff do you guys have there that you need to get out?
Well, there's some big stuff. They've got a lot of guy stuff in the building, tools, equipment, things like that. You know, there's a safe. We've got, you know, maybe tables, chairs, you know, some keepsake things that are in there. My son's got a nice armoire, you know. I mean, we do have dehumidifiers running in the home. So I'm paying an electric bill, and of course I have insurance on the home and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not much in the house. It's mostly in the building. I mean, the guys have, and we're in big discussion because my husband bought some stupid, truck that is up on the lift. And apparently the last time they were there, one of the cylinders messed up on the lift, so they haven't been able to get it down. And then there's a truck bed back there. So they're like, well, we've got to haul this. And I'm like, guys, you're going to have to sell that crap. We're not hauling that crap back here. So we're still kind of in negotiations with what's coming and what's not.
Got it. Okay. All right. Um, do you guys still, are there still people you guys are working with down there? Like, you know, like friends or family, or that are kind of helping out with some of this, or?
No.
Okay.
I've got a friend, and she's got a husband that will, you know, kind of help. We realize we're going to have to, you know, we looked at the possibility of a pod. We looked at, you know,
Yeah.
Typically, when we've come back and forth and brought our stuff, we've just rented a U-Haul. So we
Yeah.
looked at that possibility, kind of stuff like that. But then just kind of trying to negotiate how much room are we going to need and if the funds were going to be there. So if this didn't work out and it wasn't something that we were going to work through, my husband's like, talk to a realtor. My plan was to try to get a little trailer and go there, talk to a realtor, and show the place or whatever. I've got a girl I used to work with and figured I'd just contact her and then bring back a few things in this little trailer. And I'm like, guys, we are just spending money and money and money. I want to
Yeah.
do this in one swoop. I mean, I don't have to tell you, it's not easy surviving out here right now.
That's for dang sure. Yeah. I totally get that. My wife and I just got like hammered with an electric bill. We're in a 2-bed, 2-bath, like townhouse, and last month's electric bill, it's the hottest hottest month of the summer, and the electric bill was like $530. And I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
what in the freaking world? It's like
Yeah,
crazy. So yeah, I
stressing.
mean, yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah, I just have we've got the 2 dehumidifiers running in there. We've got a couple cameras up so we can keep an eye on things, of course. And
mhm.
my electric bill's been $160, and I'm like, I can't take it. We don't even live there.
Yeah, exactly,
I'm like going
exactly.
crazy.
Yep.
Between that and the insurance and the internet to keep the cameras going, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And
Um,
yeah, and then we got this clown show of a circus that we're supposed to be dealing with in November. So,
what a nightmare. Nobody
yeah.
knows where anything's going. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's like, has it been better the last 3 years or was it better 4 years ago? It's like,
Which still is not going to give us the answer.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I like how South
Frightening.
Park said it. It's like, do we want a giant douche or a turd sandwich? Uh,
Well, there you go. We have options.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, um, okay. Yeah. I mean, I think you're on the right track as far as, what you should be considering because, yeah, I mean, the cost. Like, I think the pods are really generally, for the most part, they're pretty affordable. Um, because you can just throw everything in and then they transport it. And if you need them to store the stuff, they can store it for a period of time and it's not that crazy. I think with the U-Haul stuff, like, yeah, you have the U-Haul costs, but the fuel costs, especially right now, are just going to be insane going from Florida all the way up to Michigan. Um,
Yeah.
so um, yeah, I guess. I mean, it sounds like there's still some stuff to figure out there. I mean, generally speaking, in a scenario like this, what we've done in the past, like we've worked with sellers where we've, coordinated to get, a pod delivered on site and then, they took their time, a lot of times owners are living in it or, something like that, but they took their time to just, load up all their stuff and then we had it shipped to like a local storage unit where they are locally or to if they already have another house, ship it to the house and then they can take their time unloading it. And that's usually pretty easy and straightforward and fairly quick. um, it sounds like a lot of the stuff is just like bigger stuff, and figuring
Yeah.
out the truck situation. I guess how long, like, let's say we were to close in 60 days and,
Okay.
and then, you guys got funds in 60 days, to be able to handle whatever moving expenses. How long do you think you would need to be able to get all your stuff, and get it all wrapped
So let
up?
me ask you, is 60 days the average amount of time that it would take, or could it be done sooner?
It can be done sooner. So the way so our average is 60 days, and that's basically, but that's That's across every type of situation. So sometimes we're in situations where it's tenant occupied and their lease isn't up for 120 days. Sometimes, sellers are like, oh, well, I need 30 days to find something, and then I'm going to have, I have to close on that and go through the financing and all that jazz, right? So there's a whole host of different things that come up.
Sure.
The
Okay.
way it's written is close of escrow will be as soon as practical, but no later than 60 days. So we're always doing what we can to try to move it along and close faster, but we're also flexible with sellers and, what they're dealing with too.
Okay. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like for us, I've got less than a week that I would be able to be there, load, do all the do's and deal with it. And it would be my son and I basically.
Mhm.
And, my husband will not be able to get any time off to do any of this. So, basically, I guess in my mind, I'm thinking of timing and all of that. When he and I had talked, I mean, we're prepared within 30 days as far as being able to get there, start dealing with the stuff that we need to deal with. I don't know. I've just been holding on to it so long, and it's an expense that, of course, the sooner the better would be good for me.
Yeah.
As far as, the holidays will be coming up, the sooner the better on that. And then traveling, is going to be
Yeah.
a big deal
Yeah.
because I'm getting old.
I
So,
gotcha. Okay. Hmm.
and I will
Okay.
have to kind of arrange things. I'm a director at a psychiatric hospital, so I'm going to have to kind of plan it, stuff like that, just so you kind of know what I'm working with.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Um, all right. I'm just trying to think through logistically. So I guess the big question, it really comes down to like how much do you think you guys would need for like the moving side of things?
Well, that would depend. When I talked to the gentleman before, he had mentioned the idea of a pod and that typically you guys do that. Take care of the expenses and then pull it out of, whatever the fees are.
Yep.
So that's going to be whatever we decide there is going to be an expense or however, that's just an exchange with another business, whatever. But I'm thinking, I want to be reasonable. $5,000 at a minimum, would allow me to get there. I'm going to have lodging while I'm there,
Hmm.
and, just kind of have the expenses of making it happen so that we are able to finalize and get the heck out of there.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
So I'm not trying to, I got to have half or, it's nothing like that. It's just about making it
Ye-
happen without it breaking us. So,
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Okay. All right. So what we could do, I mean, if we were to enter into contract on this and then, just get the initial ball rolling with like, just our inspections and, photos and stuff like that we typically need to do on the front end, just confirm, that everything's, good not that we don't like trust what you guys say, but
sure.
the way our business is structured, right? Like we have the conversation up front, based on what we're told, we get under contract based on what our expectations are, and then we get photos, confirm that, do some minor inspections, and just make sure everything's as we expected it to be, and then we get the ball rolling from there, and title and escrow and all that stuff going. So maybe
Are
we
you going
could
to need access to get in the house?
we would need access to get into the house. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so I would have to figure that out.
What does that look like? Is there like keys there or
There is not.
okay.
I do have a friend. Uh, I know things are getting situated. She takes care of her grandmother, and her grandmother was just admitted last night for heart failure. So I know
No.
she's really busy right now, but I could get a key out to her, and she or her husband could probably facilitate that.
Yeah. I mean, usually
I
what
just
we
don't want to
do,
waste the trip and
y-
then, have to go back.
yeah, and I don't want you to do that either. So that's why I was kind of thinking if we can, just kind of get the front end due diligence stuff, handled, early on. And then that way, like no surprises come up and it's more set in stone for you. We're pretty set in stone, but again, like, just knowing what could potentially come up, I want to save you the trip, and not create like this big hurdle for you. So, what we typically do in that situation when, there's somebody out of town and that type of stuff, usually we'll ship out like a lockbox and then, have the keys put into a lockbox. And then that way, when we need to get our inspectors out, contractors out, we can just have them go, they'll get in. It would only be like, it's not going to be like, random people showing up or anything like that. It's just our specific people that are going for inspections and bids and stuff like that. So we can do that. And that way it kind of relieves the burden off of her, especially dealing with what she's dealing with. I can't imagine,
Yeah.
it's tough that she's going to be, trying to have to deal with that while she's got her, her mom. You said her mom?
Her grandma. She
Grandmother.
takes care of her grandma. Yeah.
That's tough. So yeah, I mean, we can send out a lockbox and, have that, squared away. And, if she can, and we have like a little video that basically would show her how to set up the lockbox. So she could just set it up there once, pop the keys in, and then that way she can just, focus on grandma. And then we can just, and we'll let you know when, when our guys are going out. That way it's not like, a surprise or anything like that. Nobody's showing up unannounced or anything.
I'm like listening to you talk and I'm thinking, my husband is probably going to make me make a trip there to take a key. And, I can just hear him saying, well, what's in the house? If we're going to have people coming in, so I'll have a conversation with him, but I can kind of hear and predict what's coming next on that.
I gotcha.
So,
I
yeah.
gotcha. I mean, is there anything that,
Well, not that I can think of, but what's valuable to me is totally off the rocker with him and my son, so
yeah,
I mean,
I understand.
I don't know. So I'll talk with both of them tonight and figure out what the heck.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. But yeah, I mean, I sent a message to the underwriters and based on, and everything, I mean, they're still comfortable with that number based on everything that you've told. They worked that up based off of what you guys had told. I think it was Brad you spoke with previously, based on what you told him about the 1,200 square foot and everything. But they did have that question for me, so that's why I verified. And so with that being said, they're still good to go at that number if you guys are ready to move forward with that.
Okay. All right. I will let my husband know that we've had this conversation. And do you want to touch base tomorrow or?
Yeah, let's do that. What's a good time for you to connect tomorrow?
Usually this is a really good time. Anytime after 6 is good. It's
Okay.
just crazy during the day. So
Yeah. And are you guys on East Coast time or Central?
yeah, I'm on East Coast.
East Coast. Okay,
Yep.
perfect. Okay,
Are
perfect.
you, what time zone are you in?
I'm on the West Coast.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So it's only
All right.
5:33 here for me right now. So
All right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening then.
thanks so much. Yeah, I'm gonna get home to the baby and yeah, just enjoy some baby snuggles.
What did you say your name was again?
My name's Chris. Chris Deal. Like, let's make a deal.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much, Chris. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, no worries. Pleasure. I'll chat with you then.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. So looks like we're going to get this one wrapped up tomorrow. And I think this one is a pretty good deal here. Sounds like it's mainly going to be a cash wholesale deal, but we'll probably flat fee it as well. It does look like ARV on this could be closer to about 160, 170. Let me see here, 160 times 0.70 minus repairs. I mean, this is probably going to be, yeah, so it'll be a skinny deal, but but it'll be a deal. We'll make some money on it. So I think we'll be able to move that. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Oh, Christian just had me look at the thumbnail he created. Dude, this AI is crazy. This AI, the pictures that this AI creates is absolutely insane. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have checked out some of this AI stuff. It's wild, the pictures that it creates. All right, guys. Well, let me see who else I got here. It's getting towards the end of the night, end of the day here, so it's already 5:30. If I get on a brand new call, that's gonna be, I could end up being on a hour-long pitch. So it's gonna be putting me closer to like 7 o'clock here. So let's see here. Let me just see if I got any other follow-ups to check in on. Little townhouse near Grossmont College. Yes, I definitely do have interest in that. Let's see here. I will be selling a townhouse near Grossmont College in the near future. Do you have any interest in a townhouse in the Shadow Glen community off Lake Murray Boulevard? Yes, Lynn, we absolutely do. Let me call her now.
Hi, this is Lynn. Sorry I missed your call. Please leave your...
We're gonna double dial Lynn. Hopefully she doesn't get mad for the double dial, but I think it'll be good. I'll smooth it over with the sultry sounds of Chris Closes Your Deals voice.
Hello?
Hey, Lynn, this is Chris. How are you?
I'm sorry, Chris. Chris who?
Yeah, we were texting earlier, or you might have been texting with one of my team members here. You had mentioned that you texted at some point that you were thinking about selling a townhouse over near Grossmont College in the near future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I catch you at a bad time?
Yes, I'm actually on a long distance call
Oh, no worries.
right now. So perhaps could you call me tomorrow, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a particular time that might work best for you?
Not between 11 and 12:30. How's that?
So not between any time other than 11 to 12:30.
Right. And if I can't talk, I'll call you back.
Okay, that sounds great.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Talk to
Bye.
you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Perfect. Perfect. Christian, you got to make some thumbnails of me in like Street Fighter. Probably Sagat since I have no hair, right? That would probably be good. Like, ha 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 ha. Prank call my wife now? Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. Yeah, that would be funny. Street closer. That's what it would be called. All right. Cool, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here for the day. So this is the second session of Dialing for Deals. Had a couple deals teed up, and I think I'm still going to lock them up. It's just, timing wasn't right. So one of them is getting, well, 1, 2, could be 3 tomorrow, based on these follow-ups. The one guy's watching the Dolphins game right now. So I think we'll get that one locked up tomorrow. I think we'll get Drew locked up tomorrow, which is this rural property all the way in Northern California. It's basically like 10 minutes from the Oregon border. I think we'll lock that one up. I think we'll lock up Brandy's property down there in Florida, the single wide that was converted to a double wide with the pole barn and all that jazz. So I think that's 3. And then what else? I think I've got another one scheduled tomorrow. Let me check my callbacks here. Yeah, if he's a Dolphins fan, we don't want his property. No, we definitely want his property because that one's going to be $150,000 novation deal. So I will allow a Dolphins fan's property to make me $150,000. I'll allow it. Yeah, okay, so actually Raphael, Kathy, Drew, and yeah, and you know what? We're gonna close Lynn, the lady I just talked to, who we're gonna call tomorrow outside of 11 to 12:30. We're gonna one call close that one. Townhouse in San Diego. Let's go. We might lock that thing up ourselves. So awesome. All right, guys. Well, other than that, appreciate you guys staying tuned and watching. I'm going to be doing, at this point, I'm doing 2-a-days every single day, Monday through Friday, jumping on live. So tomorrow, here, let me give you the time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Where we are going to make real estate investing easy. So I will be going live tomorrow by 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you guys want to come back and watch more seller calls, and this train's not stopping, we're just going to keep going live every single day. And so far, I mean, it's working out really well. Tomorrow, I might actually do some case studies on a couple of the novation deals that we got, because we have, let's see, we've got a property in Philly that is closing this week or next week. That's a $20,000 deal. We locked that up sub 2, did a novation, and then we just ended up finding a cash buyer on market. And we're not paying any realtor commissions at all. So clean $20,000. We have another deal that's closing on the 27th. That is a novation. That one is in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, and we locked it up for $57,000, and we're going to make $40,000 on that deal. So that closes towards the end of the month. We also have a cash wholesale deal that we locked up for $10,000 that we're actually wholesaling for $24,000. So $14,000 profit on that one. And then we've got another deal that is, it's going to be about $175,000 deal when it's all said and done, split with our JV partner. So yes, we do split gigantic deals like that with our JV partners. So if you guys need help closing deals, converting cash deals, dead cash deals to novations, if you need help with creative finance, subject to seller financing, wraps, contract for deed, whatever it is, we can definitely help you with that. So that one actually is a contract for deed, and it's going to be like, I don't know, I think total gross on is somewhere in the $150,000 to $170,000, but there's a lot of costs associated with that. So when it all shakes out, we're probably each going to walk away with, 50 grand or so, because we had that one was a real complicated one, and we brought in a lender. We had to pay out $80,000 to the seller. But yeah, I mean, you guys would be surprised how many super thin deals can actually be really fat deals when you get us in your corner, right? Like that particular deal, it was going to be a cash wholesale deal, and at best, it was going to be about a $20,000 to $25,000 profit total. And we were able to take it, do it on a contract for deed, 12 months subject to basically wrap mortgage, and list it. And now basically both partners are going to make about 50 grand on it after paying out commissions and everything to everybody involved and paying, financing costs. So we also got another deal, another novation deal in Indianapolis where locked it up. I think it was like 187. And that one is currently listed for 245. We've already had a bunch of walkthroughs on it. That one we're probably going to end up clearing $35,000 to $40,000 on. Just locked up a deal 2 days ago in Gary, Indiana, which, fun fact, if you didn't know this, Michael Jackson and his family grew up with the seller. He knows a lot of them and a lot of Michael Jackson's family, apparently, which may not come as a shock or a surprise, or strung out on drugs and stuff like that, which, fame does that. But anyway, this guy grew up with the Jackson 5 family, and yeah, so that property we're going to probably make 15 grand as a wholesale deal on. So yeah, we've got a bunch of deals in the pipeline. If you guys need help with your deals, hit us up. We can close them. We can dispo them, TC them, whatever you guys need. And we'll see you guys on the next live tomorrow, where we're going to make real estate investing easy. Peace.